Welcome to the Mindset Mile podcast. I'm your host, Aisha Zaza. For the next 30 days, we're going to learn to build better habits in health, fitness, relationships, business, and overall well-being by making small mindset shifts that make a big difference. Contrary to how it may seem, the path to any success is achieved by taking small, consistent action over time. Someday is not a day of the week, so the time to level up is now, because you were made for greatness. It'll be a marathon, not a sprint, and together we'll take it one step, 1 mile, one day at a time. Welcome to the Mindset Mile. You ready? Hey fam, we're halfway through our 30-day challenge. How are you feeling? Have you taken away a few nuggets from these episodes? I hope you're enjoying it and loving the way you feel from moving every day and showing up because you said you would. Today, we're going to talk about money and the spending habits that might not be serving your greater goals. Let me just preface this by saying I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not going to be about where you should be investing your money, but more so a nudge to take a closer observation of your outgoing expenditures that might be costing you a lot more than they may seem. I read a statistic that an overwhelming 82% of Americans do not have 2 to 5 months worth of their expenses in a savings account should they need an emergency fund. Unfortunately, these practical yet such important lessons aren't taught in school, nor are they really conversations that younger generations have among one another. We live in a culture that promotes consumerism over saving, and that it's normal to live in credit card debt. Don't get me wrong, I think having credit cards is smart. I'm a huge advocate for taking advantage of credit card rewards, but not if you can't pay your balance at the end of every month. I used to live with credit card debt, and I completely understand that there are unforeseeable circumstances that come up in life where credit might be the only option. But if you live with revolving credit for things that are not essential, I want to strongly encourage you to come up with a game plan to pay that off. But my goal today is not to make you feel bad if you have debt. What I want to focus on are the little things that add up to be a lot that you may be able to get creative with to help you pay down debt, save for a greater goal, or just save, period. So let's take coffee, for example. Seems harmless to drop $4 to $5 on a coffee, right? But I know people who buy a coffee, if not 2 coffees a day. We'll just call it $5 to make it easy. If you get a $5 coffee every day, you're looking at $35 a week. And that doesn't even include if you get like a pastry or anything else, like that could easily add up to way more than $5. But we're just going to say $5 to keep it straight, $35 a week. So now when someone says something like, I can't afford to take a vacation, but drops $5 on coffee every day for an entire year, that's $1,800 a year in coffee alone. I'm sorry, but that could easily be a nice cruise, a backpacking trip through Europe, or an all-inclusive vacation to Mexico. As we've become a nearly cashless society, it's mindless to just swipe a card or have reoccurring subscriptions without feeling the expenses add up. Do you have reoccurring bills or habits that you don't use or even really want every month? Maybe getting coffee out isn't the thing you want to give up, and that's all good. But is there something else that's negotiable? Maybe it's something you've just gotten into the habit of doing, and you haven't tried to live without it for a while. Could you make coffee at home instead, or even just get coffee once a week instead of every day? Everyone needs to evaluate their own habits if they have other goals in mind. What are the top 3 things that you can think of just off the top of your head that might sting a little to just think about giving up, but that you could probably live without? Just the coffee example was $1,800 a year. But what if you had 3 expenses combined that would add up to $3,000 a year? What could you do with that extra money instead? So maybe you've heard this coffee example before and thought, wow, yeah, that's a lot of money that adds up over a year. Yet it didn't impact you enough to make a change. And you still get coffee every day. I'm going to take a stab at why I think most people don't change their spending habits. Because it's not enough to just not spend $5 every day. You need to see it add up and saved somewhere, right? Like it's not enough to just not spend the few dollars on coffee because it feels like it's just a few bucks and then you're missing out on something you think you want or need. There's nothing about it that motivates you enough to not spend it. So instead of just not spending it, create a savings account where every week you didn't get a coffee out, you transfer $35 into it. That way you can actually see what you're not spending add up. I don't know about you, but personally, I get motivated when I see these amounts add up. And if it helps you, make this account separate from your regular savings. Maybe you don't mind if it all just goes into the same pot, but if you want to save up for a vacation without feeling like it takes the wind out of your sails to see that money come out of your savings account for other things, then start a whole new account for this vacation over coffee fund. I know this might sound ridiculous to open a whole new savings account and transfer $35 weekly into it, but do whatever you have to do to make it fun. Make it fun for yourself so you can see how big of an impact the little things make. So I want you to look at what some of your longer term or bigger goals and desires are. And I want to ask you to take an honest inventory if there's any frivolous spending habits that you can cut out and or become creative with to replace for less. My husband swears that he made this up, but can't confirm if he heard it somewhere a long time ago. But regardless, his theory is that you can afford anything, but you can't afford everything. And that's so true. So I hope this gets your wheels spinning and motivates you to make some changes that will serve your greater goals and vision. Remember, it's always the small things that add up. Maybe it's coffee, maybe it's something else, but that's for you to decide. If you're loving this podcast, it would mean the world to me if you rated, subscribed, and shared it with a friend. Be sure to tag me on your walks or runs at Aisha Zaza and hashtag Mindset Mile. That's all we have for today, my friends. Remember, the big things don't happen overnight. It's the small things done consistently that make the big things possible. You are capable and you are worthy. Make it a great day.